One other thing I wanted to drop right here. Right? Let me get it here. This is a book called The Critical Review of the Annals of Literature. Check this out, Gaja. You can see it there. It's got fun, right? Put it on the screen so you all can see it. Because there was an expulsion during the time of the late 1400s from Spain, right? Where the Jews were being expelled from different parts of Spain. Let's find out who these Jews were. I need y'all to read this real quick. Hold on. It says here. Let me go down the line. Swedes, the Danes, and the Brandenburgers, the North Americans since 1778 with the Spaniards. Their trade, however, still increased, and not only by the Swedes and Brandenburgers, ceasing their navigations of the coast of Guinea, but from the annals demand a supply of more than 100,000 Negro recruits for their own colonies. The author confines his relation of the first Negro trade to that carried on by the Portuguese and Spaniards. Gonzalez was the first Portuguese in 1942 returned with Negro slaves, purchased instead of the Africans, who had till then been carried off by mere violence. But soon after, the Portuguese became better acquainted with the African regions and their valuable productions. Prince Henry founded the first Guinea Company that settled factories in the fortress of Anguin and got the exclusive privilege of trading with the Arabs, Muslims, assalamu alaikum. The trade soon increased to that in 1455. Not less than 700 or 800 Negro slaves were annually exported to Lisbon. At length, the Portuguese. In 1471 discovered the Gold Coast, the Ivory Coast. And ever since, the intercourse between Portugal and Guinea was continued. The Portuguese endeavored to exclude other nations from Guinea, whilst the rest of the European navigators were in spite of papal bulls in all the reports. See that, papal bulls? And all the reports industriously
the spread of the pretended dangers of that coast, striving to get a share of that profitable gold trade. The discovery of the Gold Coast served indeed yet more to enlarge the sphere of the navigation of the Portuguese than their slave trade.
Come on.
But it forced them also to extend themselves on the coast and to settle colonies in Congo, Angola, and...
So they begin to settle, they begin to settle colonies where?
In Congo, Angola, and other places.
And in other places, read.
Which they had till then neglected.
Come on.
Prince Henry's colonies were enlarged by his successors. King John II in 1492 expelled all the Jews to the island of St. Thomas.
Hold up. He expelled all the Jews to what?
To the island of St. Thomas.
To the island of St. Thomas. So the Jews that was expelled out of Spain, folks, a lot of them was taken to St. Thomas. In our history, they're claiming the expulsion of the Jews from Spain were Europeans. They were putting us in slavery. That was us being expelled, actually being expulted. Exactly. Yeah. Come on, finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
It says, King John in 1492 expelled Jews to the island of St. Thomas.
Come on.
Which had been discovered in 1471.
But the whole thing, if the Jews were expelled to St. Thomas, what? So this is their history and their annals. I'm going to be going into more of their annals to track all the way to the Americas. We have it, but I'm going to be going over that in the academy. But finish what you have, Elder Lawya.
It says, into other Portuguese settlements on the continent of Africa. And from then, or from these banished Jews.
There was what?
It says, and from these banished Jews, the Black Portuguese, as they're called, and the Jews in Longo are the despised even by the very Negroes.
Come on.
And descended.
Go ahead.
By these colonists, St. Thomas soon became a considerable place of trade. And valuable for its sugar plantation. 30 years after their settlement, not less than 150,000 arobes, or 30 pounds of weight each, of sugar were exported. And the engines of 60 sugar works turned by slaves.
Okay, you got it, brother. Hold up. Now here's the point. Oh, yeah, we're going to have this on the streets. Now, this is the whole point, though. The whole point is, now we can show you in the 1400s where slaves, Jews, are put back under hard bondage by the Europeans. So we even got the middle information of what you would call the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages is when they began to put us under rule, under Pharaoh's rule throughout the four corners of the earth.
Renaissance period.
That Renaissance period. The same time they were whitewashing his image, 1492.
But then that
Listen, 1492. Listen, Christopher Columbus is going out to sell for the New World. At the same time they're going out to do that, they're painting all the dark images white. At the same time they're doing that, they're planning an expulsion of the Jews to do what? To serve slavery in the New World. Tell me we're not the Israelites. And this is the whole deal, folks. This is just a piece of what I'm going into. And they took the black Jews. The whole thing is, folks, outside of the color, we really have to look beyond the color and more so look at what they made us to practice in captivity. The cat is out of the bag now. We all know what the Israelites look like now. We have to get beyond that now. It's time to denounce all of paganism within our traditions going forward. All of us together.